So I thought today, well, I'll tell you about the things that I love about the Bolt. Welcome to another episode of Double J's List. If you get a chance, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. That would help me out a lot. Today, I'm going to cover the 15 things that I love about my 2022 Chevrolet Bolt EUV. One of my previous videos that I did the 12 things that I hate about my Chevy Bolt. In the Chevy Bolt group on Facebook and in the comments below the video, I received a number of comments that agreed, some that didn't agree, some accused me of just making something that was clickbait and doing something negative. So I thought today, well, I'll tell you about the things that I love about the Bolt. And first things first, this is a list of 15 items that I love about this car versus 12 of the previous list that I made of the things that I hate. So I like more than I hate. Already that's a good start. Now, number one, the first part of my list before we even get to number one, I'm going to basically cover the items that are more in general for all EVs. And then after that, I'm going to get into the items that are more Bolt EUV specific. So number one is the instant power when you press down the accelerator pedal. There's no waiting for a downshift. There's no waiting for the throttle to respond. There's no waiting for a turbo to build boost. It just goes. Nothing else that I've driven that is gas powered or diesel powered can come close to the throttle response that this car has. It is amazing for going around busy traffic. If you have to dart out of somewhere quickly, it's all there. Amazing. Even if it's not a high horsepower EV, it still has more response than just about anything else that you can think of. Number two is the cost to run. Running an electric vehicle costs significantly less than running a vehicle on gasoline or diesel. Even hybrids, nothing is cheaper than running something on electricity, especially in our area where electricity is inexpensive. There are even opportunities to go and charge the car for free certain places. I just charge primarily from home, and it's a fraction of what it costs to run even an efficient car on gasoline. So, number three is maintenance cost. Now, if I understand correctly, there really isn't any kind of fluid maintenance or anything like that on the Bolt EUV until over 100,000 miles. Some say even like 150,000 miles. There's some coolant that needs to get changed. There's 3 different coolant reservoirs and systems that need to be flushed. But they say that it can be done at around 150,000 miles, if I understand that correctly. So that's way off into the future. No oil changes. There is oil for the gear reduction system to bring the basically there's a gear reduction system in these to get the wheels to spin at the right speed for what the motor can put out. Again, that one isn't supposed to be serviced until well over 100,000 miles also. So that's also a benefit. So none of that comes close to the cost of servicing a gasoline vehicle on oil changes and all that kind of stuff that go along with it. I would personally say that it's probably more important to change the brake fluid or flush the brake fluid system out more frequently than even what the manufacturer recommends, just because brake fluid has a tendency to hold water. It's not good for your brake system. So I would say do that every 2 years personally. That's my own thought, but follow your owner's manual. And I don't think it hurts to change fluids more often than not. Number 4 is how quiet it is to drive. With the electric motor, you don't get the vibrations, the noise, any of that stuff that you get with a gasoline or diesel powered car. This car, you get a slight whir. It's almost like going on an amusement ride at a theme park. The sound that comes out of it, it's probably less than half of what you get out of a gasoline engine, if not even less than that, quite frankly. To the point where when I get into gasoline-powered cars, they all sound kind of noisy to me now, even the quietest ones. It's really, really amazing. It's very, very nice. I didn't think I'd like being in a car this quiet as much as I do, but it actually is. It's after like a long day at work, it's really nice just to get in and not have to have more noise bombard you. Number 5 is not going to gas stations anymore. I understand that pretty much all walks of life that are able to own a car are at the gas station, but quite frankly, maybe I'm a little bit of an introvert, but I don't miss seeing all these people at the gas station and just standing there in the cold and the weather, filling up a car with gas. It's just so much easier just to pull up to the house, run in the garage, grab my cord, plug it in, and be done with it. Along with not going to gas stations, or number 6, I also like not being empty on fuel. What I mean by that is I'm the type of person that once it gets to a quarter tank, I panic and I say, hey, it's time to put gas in this car. And I was always the type of person where if the gas light came on when I was driving, I felt like I let myself down and I should have addressed that earlier. Well, with this car, I find that I get down to about half a battery and then I go ahead and charge it all the way back up. So I'm really never below, in essence, a half tank. It makes me really happy. And I do that about every 3 days. I can go about 3 days without and only use half the battery in my normal driving. And number 7, the final item that is general to all EVs is remote preconditioning. So either using the key fob it's basically like using remote start. However, they call it preconditioning for EVs. And it's important, especially in cold weather, because if you're looking to get the most out of your range, you'll want to get that car started and running while it's still plugged into its power source, because what that does is it heats up the battery using the power from wherever its power source is, whether it's your house or it's a charging station, whatever it might be, because it uses that to get your battery up to heat to operate correctly, because it does warm the battery even when the car is off, but it puts it in kind of a standby state, you could call it. And then when it's operating, the battery needs to be a bit warmer. So if you're not plugged in when you start it on a really cold day, it uses a lot of energy just to warm that battery up to operating strength. So the nice thing about that is you're also making the cabin nice and comfortable to sit in. So I find myself using that, either the key fob or I use the app, although I used that on my video previously that I didn't like how the app was so expensive. But again, it's awesome to be able to start up and use that. All right, we're on to number 8 now, and this is something that is now specific to the Chevy Bolt EUV, is the fact that this car is a bargain. Now, when I bought mine, gas prices were, my first one, not this one, gas prices were still really low, and I got an extremely good lease deal because no one really cared about buying an EV because gas was like $2 a gallon. Now, these went up when gasoline went up. Now, General Motors has dropped the prices again on these, just as the MSRPs drop down. You can get a base Bolt EV now for just over $26,000, or you can move all the way up to a loaded up EUV like this one, with the leather interior, heated cooled seats, panoramic sunroof, Bose sound system, all the good stuff for like just around mid-30s. You can't beat that, in my opinion. The average new car right now in the United States is well over $40,000, or new vehicle, I should say. And these are coming in for less than what the new average vehicle costs in our country. And then on top of that, it costs almost nothing to run comparatively. So I don't know how you beat that. Chevy really nailed this, I think. Number 9 is the fact that the Chevrolet dealer network is huge. Within, I'd say, a half-hour drive from my house, there's probably 5 or 6 Chevy dealers. When you get into companies like Tesla, the closest one to where I live is out in Rochester to get your vehicle serviced. When you want to buy your Tesla, you have to order it online and go all the way down to like New York City area and drive it back home and have to use their charging system, which is very good. But the convenience factor really isn't there. Apparently they do send text to your home when there are problems, then they try to fix things in your driveway. Yeah, I can just go to the Chevy dealer 5 minutes from my house and get this fixed anytime I need it under warranty. So that's more convenient. That's something that is, I think, superior also. Number 10 is how much the 2022 Chevy Bolt improved over the previous models. In 2022, there was a facelift. They improved the interior materials a lot. It's a much nicer car inside. They also added the EUV model, which lengthened the wheelbase, made the car a little bit bigger, made the back seat way bigger and more usable for families. Awesome stuff that they did with this car. It's a way better car than before. Not that the old car was that bad, but they literally addressed everybody's complaints. I did a video on when I reviewed this talking about the updates, because I've owned both now, and yeah, they did a great job on this car and reduced the price. It's amazing. All right, come around the back of the car. I'm going to talk about number 11. It's the shelf that they put into the hatch. It's actually pretty handy. I have no idea what's in my hatch right now. Ah, yeah. Roadside assistance stuff actually from our Volkswagen from right now. But this shelf is great. So you think that this is the hatch area right here. And what you do, you lift up and you've got a whole nother hatch space under here. I've been able to fit bags of cat litter and other items down there. You do that up and then you basically make the most out of a really small hatch area. So one of my complaints was the hatch is small, but one of the good things is you make the most out of it with that little hatch shelf. All right, we went ahead inside the car for number 12. So number 12 is the sound of the turn signal click. So as I understand it, previously in older cars, the turn signal, when you turned it on, would make a relay go on and off, and that would be the clicking sound that you'd hear, click, 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 when you turn the turn signal on. Modern cars, let's say from the past 15, 20 years, they actually use, instead of using a relay to make the turn signal go on and off, on and off, on and off, what it does now is it has something that's computer controlled with chips and things like that, and they have a little speaker that makes the clicking noise that we're all familiar with from that. The Chevy Bolt, for some reason, has a click that it seems like they've emulated, like an old car from the 70s. Like, listen to this click. To me, that sounds like the old turn signal click from like my dad's 1973 Oldsmobile Delta 88 convertible. I don't know why because I've heard other modern General Motors cars, other cars in general, the click, it almost sounds computerized and new and modern. They went old school on this, and I think that's kind of a really cool touch that I don't, maybe not many people catch, but I thought it was pretty cool. While we're inside the car, number 13 is the hard climate control switches. When you get into a lot of new modern cars, especially Teslas, they like to get rid of all the buttons and have a very clean dashboard. While that looks extremely cool and nice and modern and sleek, it's not really practical. There's still some things that you have to do in here to get, but for the basic things that you need, basically, I want to make the heated or cool seats come on, and just a switch. I want to just turn everything off, I can flip the switch. Temperature up and down, fan up and down, the auto, AC, heated steering wheel, all the stuff that I would normally need to get to is here. And if I need to do any tweaking, like, oh wow, the window got foggy, I hit this button and the defroster goes full blast. Now, and then after it clears off the window, I just hit auto again and everything goes back to normal climate control. If you want to get nitpicky about it, you hit the climate and then you get into the menus and everything that you do here. So, in my opinion, this is far superior to a lot of other companies that do this sort of thing. So, bravo, Chevy. One last thing while we're inside the car, you can already see it in the video right now above my head, is the panoramic sunroof. I find that I don't open the glass sunroof to the outside too much, but I do open the sunshade a lot, especially on gray, gloomy days like today, just to brighten up the interior a little bit. It makes it a lot nicer in here to live with. So I like that. My kids like to sit in the back and look out the sunroof a lot. It's a very, very nice feature. It's part of the sun and sound package, so you get that and you get the Bose sound system. And yeah, I do actually know, the more I live with it, the more I like it, I think. And we're going to head outside now and talk about my very last, number 15, favorite thing about this car. The number 15 and the last thing that I love about my Chevy Bolt is specific to my Chevy Bolt and not too many others, is the color. Ice Blue Metallic, this is called. I don't think I've had a color of a car that I've had more compliments on out of all the cars that I've owned, and I've owned over 20 cars. As you can see right now in the gray skies, it's actually looking very blue today. When the sun comes out, the blue almost disappears and turns into like a silvery white. Awesome, awesome color. When you get close to it, you can see a lot of really nice sparkle. It almost seems like there's some pearl in it or something like that. Very, very cool color. And again, I couldn't really be much happier. I miss the old Oasis blue of my 2020. That was a really like almost borderline obnoxious blue. But now that I've lived with this for a little while, I really, really love the new color. So anyway, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you get a chance, please subscribe. I'm on Instagram as Double J's List. I'm also on Facebook as Double J's List. See if you can look me up. Follow me on there so you can see when new videos go up. And thank you for watching. And say a Prius that runs on gas.